In the headlines, Ethiopia steps up preparations to host COP32 in 2027. And a scholar says sabotaging Ethiopian development project is self-defeating. Hello, you're watching ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. With the news, I'm Tegesser Nisa. Do stay with us. Ethiopia's National Steering Committee met today, led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, to align preparations for hosting COP32. The Office of Prime Minister says the meeting reaffirmed a coordinated, inclusive national effort as Ethiopia begins organizing the Global Climate Summit. This follows the appointment of Foreign Minister Gideon Timotheus as President-designated of COP32. Gideon will guide all preparations in coordination with national institutions, the UN, FCCC, and the international partners. Ethiopia was officially confirmed as the host during the COP30 closing session in Belém, Brazil. The summit will take place in Addis Ababa in November 2027 and is expected to bring together more than 60,000 delegates. The government says the country's strong infrastructure, connectivity, and the climate initiatives such as the Green Legacy program will support successful hosting of the world's largest annual climate gathering. Ethiopia's National Digital Transformation Council has endorsed the Digital Ethiopia 2030 strategy and sent it to the Council of Ministers for the final approval. Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Tirune announced the decision after the Council held its 5th regular meeting. Members reviewed progress on national digital initiatives, including the rollout of digital ID system, the 5 million Ethiopian coders program, and the status of ongoing digital projects under the current Digital Ethiopia 2025 framework. The new 2030 strategy marks a shift toward a long-term plan to accelerate the country's digital transformation. Temesgen said Ethiopia's digital economy is now poised to exponential growth and reaffirmed the country's council commitment to fast-tracking implementation to ensure an inclusive digital future. Ethiopia's push for sustainable growth is gaining momentum, with major development projects now reshaping the nation's economic landscape and promising benefits far beyond its borders. In an inclusive interview with ABC's Addis Dialogue, the Ethiopian-American computer science professor Abiy Ahmed says the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is said to power industrial expansion, boost digital access, and create new jobs while also delivering economic gains to neighboring and downstream countries. He added that meaningful progress in the Horn of Africa will depend on cooperation, not rivalry, arguing that attempts to hinder Ethiopia's development are short-sighted and ultimately ineffective. Shagawi Matao has more on this.
Ethiopia is undertaking major development projects aimed at achieving sustainable growth and improving the living standards of its citizens. These initiatives carry transformative potential not only for the country but for the entire region. Talking to Addis Dialogue, the Ethiopian-American computer science professor Abiy Ahmed indicated that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will strengthen industries, improve services like internet access, and open new opportunities for jobs and growth. He also pointed out that the developmental project GERD will also benefit neighboring and downstream countries as well.
GERD, as we all know, is about 5,000 to 6,000 watts of power, if you will. That power will allow not only the neighboring countries to take advantage of it and generate hard currency for Ethiopia, which also leads to self-sufficiency and self-reliance. But also internally what happens is within Ethiopia, number one, our industries will actually benefit from it because you will have less outage or no outage at all. So if we concentrate and we have power, which is the most important thing at this point in time, then we'll be having an industry growth internally. And of course, for example, internet access capabilities that are going to be dramatically increasing because of the presence of power. And then perhaps creating new jobs. Combine that with LNG, and the sky is the limit. In terms of, for example, neighboring countries and the benefits of GERD, Ethiopia is developing. By the way, you have to understand GERD by definition is a development project. That means a project that will actually not only benefit Ethiopians, but also the neighboring countries and the downstream countries, if you will.
Turning to regional dynamics, the scholar emphasized Ethiopia's central role in the Horn of Africa and the importance of cooperation over rivalry. He argued that attempts by neighboring actors to undermine Ethiopia's progress are short-sighted and ultimately ineffective. The true path forward, he noted, lies in pursuing development that benefits both Ethiopians and the wider region.
What we have to work on as a nation is primarily concentrate on what we can do best for our people, which will also help others in the region. Ethiopian economy does not grow in an isolation. It is part and parcel of an integrated environment that's Horn of Africa. We have the largest population in the Horn, and actually the second largest population in the entire continent of Africa. And therefore, our people can benefit by having a peaceful transaction, a people-to-people relationship among all different areas within the region, which will benefit them as well as us. And people in the north that are actually more or less trying to sabotage this development, in my view, that's a very self-defeating concept. At the end of the day, it does not help them, and they cannot stop us. And one way of us showing our progress is to succeed despite what they're trying to do.
As Ethiopia pushes forward with its development agenda, the country's progress is increasingly tied to cooperation and stability across the Horn of Africa. For scholars like Abdi Ahmed, the success of projects like the GERD underscores a future where shared growth, not rivalry, defines the region's path forward.
A new fossil find in Ethiopia is reshaping understanding of early human evolution. At a joint briefing, Ethiopian Heritage Authority Director General Ababaw Ayalew and Arizona State University researcher Professor Yohannes Haile-Selassie revealed that Lucy's species, Australopithecus afarensis, lived alongside another early human ancestor. The species known as Australopithecus dharemida was first hinted in 2009 after a mysterious fossil foot was uncovered in the Warinso Mele area of the Afar region. Researchers say the fossil's unique features show a mix of climbing ability and upright walking. Professor Haile-Selassie explained that the update finding helps solve a long-standing puzzle, offering new insight into early human diversity and confirming the coexistence of Australopithecus afarensis and Australopithecus dharemida some 3.4 million years ago. Now a quick reminder of the top stories before we go. Ethiopia steps up preparations to host COP32 in 2027. A scholar says sabotaging Ethiopian development project is self-defeating. That's all we had for this news edition. Thank you for staying with us. Goodbye.